I think the Korean, first of all, the Korean War Memorial is, I believe it is the birthplace and it is the holy place of the alliance. And I think the Korean War Memorial make the Korean War a not forgotten war and make the Korean War veterans unforgettable. So when I was a defense attaché to the USA, and I always recommend everybody needs to visit the Korean War Memorial. You will learn the lessons. You will feel something that what the Korean War veterans want to say to us, what they want to pass, what are the messages they want to tell us. So I believe that the Korean War Veterans Memorial is that contribute to make our alliance strong and also make our alliance endure. And right now we have, as you know, that we have a Korean War veterans who fought during the Korean War. They have the association. And also we have Korea defense veterans who served after the Korean War for almost 70 years. And both the Korean War veterans and the Korean defense veterans, they served to the peace and the prosperity of the Korean Peninsula. And without their sacrifice and dedication, the Korea cannot exist. And today, the Korea, we live, as General Tawari mentioned, that how the Korea has been developed. And it's because of the sacrifice of that the Korean War veterans, as well as the Korea defense veterans. So they are together, actually, they together have contributed to today's Korea. And I believe that the Korean War veterans and Korea defense veterans have carried out the missions to pass the lessons, the messages of the Korean War and the Korean War veterans today. And I think they have done that very successfully. And I hope that that will continue in the future. And I do support that their efforts, Korea defense veterans and the Korean War veterans, to do their roles in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. And General Tawari.
Well, let me talk about the Wall of Remembrance because I think that's important. I think General Shin highlighted the memorial. I was selected to be the chairman of the Korean War Veterans Memorial Foundation last year, just about a year ago. And we undertook a project that has been long-standing, which is to integrate a wall of remembrance at the Korean Memorial. And frankly, it's the most visited memorial in Washington, D.C. Over 4 million Americans, Korean Americans, foreign visitors come to that memorial. It's the most beautiful memorial in my view, and it's spiritual in nature. So what we intend to do, and we hope to do it starting in April of next year, building it in April of next year, and completing it by July of 2022, is to integrate into the memorial itself a 45-degree angle wall, which will have the name, the service, and the grade, meaning the rank, of each individual who died, KIA in Korea, both US and Katusa. So this will be the first monument in the United States with the names of Koreans who served with the United States Army, Korean augmentees to the United States Army. And those of us who are in the foundation, consider them to be part of US Army units. So there will be 36,574 American names and 8,000 plus Korean names on that wall of remembrance, KIA in Korea. For those of you familiar with it, you see the linden trees, the trees that we normally stand under in the shade while we're waiting for ceremonies. Around the back of that, there will be a semicircle that ties into the main memorial, 45-degree angle wall with all the names on it. We have gotten through all of what I will call the processes here in Washington, D.C. The National Park Service has agreed, the Arts Commission has agreed, the EPA has agreed, the DC Council has agreed. So it's been a very long and bureaucratic process to get through. We have selected a wonderful architect, and I will ask Jim Fisher, who I think is on this call, to send a copy of the artist concept so we could put them on the website, Skip, if you would agree. We've gotten through that. We've selected Hartman and Cox. They've done the designs. They've gotten them all approved. We've also had it put out an RFP. We've selected a contractor. We're doing some of the preliminary work already, sounding, looking at the dirt and how deep we have to go. We have to replace some of the linden trees or maybe all of them. This has been a joint and coordinated effort with the Ministry of Patrons and Veterans Affairs in the Republic of Korea, with the Korean administration. The money is going to be ROC and US money through donations. And in a real sense, the Embassy of the Republic of Korea, General Pyo, who is the defense attaché, Ambassador Lee, who of course is the current US ambassador, have all been part of the process. The Minister of Defense in the Republic of Korea has seen it and approved it. The Minister of Patriots and Veterans Affairs have seen it and approved it. So we're moving ahead. And we hope that this will prove to be a beautiful addition to the memorial. Now, what's the purpose? There are about 4 purposes. One is to show that this is an alliance of the ages. That's very important. The ROC-US alliance, with the 4 million people a year who see it, will understand the sacrifices to make this miracle happen. The second thing is to honor those who fell and gave their all for the people of the Republic of Korea and for democracy and freedom in the Republic of Korea. The third part, which is important, is to educate Americans over time. Every day someone sees that, they'll understand what are the costs of war. The costs of war are not, they're not colonels, they're not generals, but they're young men and women who go to places, just as we said at the beginning, that they've never been, and for people they have not known, to fight and die for a cause. And I think the fourth piece is to protect for the long term, not only this wonderful memorial downtown, which again, I think is spiritual, but also to show people that this alliance is not a fleeting alliance. It's not an alliance of that is only 70 years old and not going to be, it's an alliance that's going to go on forever. And it's our job to make that happen. And it's done through KDVA, it's done through the Memorial Foundation, it's done through many people who have in their heart the Republic of Korea and the United States alliance. I'll be glad to answer questions on that as we go along if there are any.